Welcome back, everybody. As promised, this is a video about my worst property of the year 2024. Last year, we compiled all the numbers. Here's a duplex, $17,803 in income. It's a two-bedroom, one-bath, upper-lower brick duplex. Nice building. The income was $17,803. The expenses was $50,425.79. So a whopping negative for the year on this one. That's not, we haven't even gotten to taxes, which is 27.44 and 26 cents. Insurance, very light on this one, $968.23. And then we got our principal and interest payments. This was on a hard money deal to start. Then it got moved to long-term financing. Principal interest, $8,186.16. So a terrible year for this property. And I'll explain where this expenses come from, because I'm sure somebody's listening to this like, how in the world did they manage to spend that kind of money on this property? Bought this property for $90,000 originally. It was a wholesale deal. Like I mentioned, I've dealt with wholesalers. I actually don't hate their deals generally. I looked around at this one from the basement up, actually from above the basement. Beautiful property, pretty simple fixes on it, and it was going to have pretty solid rents. It's a brick building, good for the long term. And it was known to have some basement issues, and I was looking around the basement. I was like, oh, I've seen worse than this, and I had seen worse than this, but I hadn't tried to fix worse than this. Got somebody out there, got the quote, and it was 40 grand to get it. I mean, we could have done some stuff to just patch it together and get it limped along, but to really do it right was $40,000, and that's a capital expense that you're never going to see back. The only hope that we have is we keep this property for 30 years, and I don't die in that time, and somehow we eventually can make that money back. But it was a mistake on my end. I totally owned up to it. I was like, I told everybody like, hey, yeah, I thought this was going to be maybe 10 grand. It's 40 grand. So now we're basically even on what we paid for plus the expenses and what it's worth on the market. We're pretty much even on that, but we had to take that 40 grand that we could have used to buy more properties and tie it up in this one. So when I talk about mistakes really hurting you and potentially putting you back quite a bit, it's not coming from a place of ignorance. It's coming from a place that I've been there and seen with my own two eyes. So I would really recommend to take your time, especially starting out, because we were able to weather the storm because we had other properties and we had other things going on. But if this was our second or, God forbid, our first property, that would have been a tough one. So this was the worst property of the year. I'll include some pictures of it and whatnot for your pleasure. But it was an expensive repair, most expensive repair I've done for a single thing in a property, and I won't be looking forward to doing that again. That is our worst property of 2024. There's everything in between from negative 44,000 to the last one I talked about was a positive 13,000. There's everything in between. So we'll go through some of the other ones if people find this interesting, and we'll talk about the portfolio in 2025. Anybody that's watching this video right now, I truly appreciate the viewership and the interest. Leave a comment if you can. I don't think I've gotten any comments yet, which is totally cool. But if anybody has a comment on what they would like to see, I would love to make some customized videos for that specifically. So if you have an idea of something that would be interesting to see and talk about in this space, I'd be more than happy to provide it. So hope you guys have a great afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.